Well-Cooked Hams raises stage fright to new temperatures. Directed by Elliot Silverstein, written by Andrew Kevin Walker, and shot by John R. Leonetti. Based on a story from Tales from the Crypt number 27, drawn by Jack Davis. Magic's in the air, enter showbiz if you dare. A hunchback is held over a burning stove. He throws a bottle of acid at his attacker's face. It's no use. The hunchback's head is shoved right onto the burner. Both men are horribly disfigured. The curtain goes up, the audience applauds. Miles and Arthur intend to bring this French stage production to America. The only problem is the horrific effects of the Grand Guignol are a secret. Arthur is sure they can reach a deal with Metier, the theater owner. Miles has trouble performing the classic flame out of a top hat trick for his audience. Nobody is impressed. Even his assistant Greta exits the stage. That's the act. Any applause is out of pity. Greta tears Miles's ego a new one backstage. None of his promises of stardom have come true. He will never live up to Zorbin the Magnificent. She's fired. After storming out, Greta comes back to interrogate Miles about a medallion around his neck.
That medallion was in Zorbin's family for generations. He treasured it. He didn't let anybody so much as touch it. Where did you get it?
It appeared out of thin air.
You know where he is. Where is he?
Last time Zorbin walked off stage, he never came back.
You killed him.
Yes. Yes, I killed him.
As Miles laments his lack of magic, somebody watches him through the window. Greta is stopped by this mysterious man. Arthur and Miles meet with Metier, expressing their interest in producing an American version of the Grand Guignol. Horror is taking the country by storm, even appearing in comic books. Oh, those sneaky EC writers. Reaching a deal is impossible. The Grand Guignol was founded by Metier's father, who in death passed along the secrets of the special effects to him. Even the actors don't know how they're accomplished. Those secrets are written down, locked in a safe. Miles struggles with his act and his new assistants. After the show, he has a visitor, fellow illusionist Kragen.
And being an illusionist also, I thought I might invite you to come and see my show, yeah?
You're an illusionist?
I'm the greatest illusionist, yeah.
How come is it I've never heard of you?
Well, probably because I don't play this part of the country very often.
Invited to the exclusive performance, Miles watches Kragen introduce his most dangerous trick, the Box of Death. A coffin which he will enter to be impaled by multiple knives and have sulfuric acid poured onto him. Kragen has himself handcuffed, bound in a sack, boarded up inside the Box of Death, and everyone screams over the magician's on-stage demise. Everyone except Miles. Don't worry, it's only an illusion. The partners ponder what to do next. In the heat of an argument, they both think of the same inspired idea. Rushing back to Metier's office, his safe is open as he places the night's profits inside. Shooting him dead, they steal the manuscript of his father's secrets. Miles meets with Kragen. He wants to know how such a magical feat was achieved. The screenwriter of Seven tells us what's in the box. Kragen begins a private demonstration. His enthusiasm is cut short when the mirror gives away the knife behind Miles's back.
You want to steal my magic trick?
I'm gonna do a lot more than that if you don't tell me what happens.
No, I will never tell. The Box of Death has been in my family for generations.
You really think that the Box of Death is worth dying for, old man?
No, please, no, I beg you, no, please, no.
As Miles and Arthur's plane takes off, Metier's body is discovered. In mid-air, the two Americans peruse the Grand Guignol's secret special effects. It's all there. Fake blood, fake weapons, mutilations, the acid and stove stunts. The two agree they can't let anyone know what they're up to. They will both memorize this secret book, then destroy it. Upon landing in New York, they get to work memorizing the pages and booking a theater. In Paris, the public mourns the death of Métier. A week later, as Miles and Arthur burn the Book of Secrets, Métier's body has disappeared. Miles and Arthur, none the wiser, prepare for their sold-out premiere. Word of mouth has turned Miles into a star. Ahead of his next sold-out performance, Thomas Miller barges in with a motion picture camera. Miles isn't interested in the man's pitch. Miller presses on, offering to film Miles' act and play copies in theaters across the country. He and Miles will be rich. That gets the magician's attention. The two have an agreement. Arthur and Miles act out the gruesome effects of the Grand Guignol for their audience. It all looks horrifyingly realistic. They come to the stove and acid gags. Miles throws the acid at Arthur. In return, Arthur shoves Miles' face onto the stove. They both scream. Something isn't right. The cries of Miles and Arthur are agonizing, even for the show. The performers still writhe in pain after the curtains close. A startled cast member sees their faces are burned for real. The curtain rises in the midst of all the chaos, causing a panic. The sight of Miles and Arthur's dead bodies on stage empties the theater. Only one remains seated, the smiling corpse of Métier. Greta sneaks backstage as the show starts. Miles talks up the famed box of death, unaware of the ensuing sabotage. The curtain reveals the box of death to the audience, all while Thomas hand cranks the camera. As his assistants help prepare him for the box, I must say, despite his enthusiasm, I don't think Miles can work a crowd like Cragen. Miles, inside a sack inside the box, out of the audience's sight, frees himself. The candles burn the ropes holding the knives. The box's false back is blocked. Miles is trapped in the path of the blades. He calls for help. Thomas keeps rolling. The candles finish their job. 6 knives plummet right into Miles. All are treated to a bloody spectacle as the assistants remove the skewers. It takes everyone a second to realize this isn't part of the act. Greta takes over the camera. Miles begs Thomas for help, who transforms himself into not only Cragen, but Zorbin, the magician Miles killed before the story started.
Ta-da!
Zorbin?
Oh, Miles. Once a student, always a student. You're dismissed.
Miles dies on stage. The crowd goes wild for Zorbin the Magnificent. Well-Cooked Hams is fun, but something is missing. In both versions, the holder of a secret is murdered, and his wrongdoers die on stage from those secrets. Not many twists and turns. The magic of the story comes from the aesthetic. The comic revels in some historical touches, placing us within the Grand Guignol, a Parisian theater specializing in the horrific from 1897 to 1962. It is synonymous with gruesome displays to this day. At one time, the secrets of the Guignol gore were tightly under wraps. Now we have books detailing and analyzing the theater of fear. The name Métier is a lateral move from Metenier, the Grand Guignol's real-life founder. Billy Zane proves that it does take talent to play a sleazy, jealous no-talent. Of course the Crypt invited him back for the big screen. Zorbin and his murder are talked about briefly, rather than shown, so the magician's magnificence doesn't fully register. The end reveal means more to Miles than it does to me. We know Miller and Cragen are both Martin Sheen in makeup. Keeping us at Miles' side makes me question if the story thought it was pulling a fast one on us or winking at us. I feel we as viewers could have been more active participants in the scheme against Miles had we actually witnessed Zorbin before seeing him appear as Cragen and Miller. The acting and production values are still top-notch. The costumes and makeup were nominated for Primetime Emmys, while Billy Zane and Martin Sheen appropriately hammed it up. This episode was well cooked on the outside, but needed a little more time in the oven.
Somebody got a doctor! Girls, I'm dying here!